All right, you guys, we are live in effect in the locker room. I am so glad that you decided to join us because we've got an amazing show lined up for you guys. I am your host, Coach T.Wood, and the gentleman you see with me tonight is none other than Q, the guru. What's going on, superstar?
What's going on, Coach? How you feeling this week, man?
Hey, man, it's another week, and we got some big topics. I
Yeah,
mean,
you got some
the
hot ones, man.
industry. I know the industry
Constant.
never hesitates to give us some news. And for those that are joining us for the first time in the locker room show, that's where we close the door, you guys. We talk football topics that are important to the players who play the game, the coaches, and the families, you parents out there that need to know what's going on in the industry, because this is no different than the music industry, than the movie industry. You better know what's going on or you're going to get chewed up and spit out.
These
So I
facts.
got Q with me, and you guys see the topics down there on the bottom of the screen, whether you're joining us live or you're joining us recorded. You guys, we want to cover what's important to you. So if you are live with us, let us know where you're from and ride with us for about 30 minutes. So we're going to get into it, you guys. I mean, the first one was something that we talked about during the week, Q, and Calvin Ridley. You know,
Yeah.
pretty good player, man.
Yeah,
I
he's
mean,
solid.
very important to Atlanta, even though they're
Mm-hmm.
struggling. He's important to their team. Good at Alabama, and got caught up a little bit, man, with the sports gambling. Didn't even look like he was going big, but you know, doing it on the side when he was inactive, and got suspended, man, for a
Yeah.
year. Looks like no pay. Um,
Yeah.
you
They
know,
dropped the
that
hammer on him, Coach. They
yeah, they
dropped the
they
hammer
dropped the
on him.
hammer, and it's interesting because we see ties, Q, with the NFL and sports betting and stuff. These sites. What's your opinion, man, on what young Ridley's going through?
You know what? I mean, the way I look at it, Coach, is the world that we live in now, especially with sports betting, it's always been one of those things that have been with sports like underground and taboo. And it's more and more apps, it's more and more sites because it's getting more and more mainstream. It's always been a huge money maker. So as far as Ridley, I'm looking at the situation like an athlete should be able to bet. Anyone should be able to bet. Only stipulations would be you can't bet on your own squad.
Okay, so
Okay.
you
Now I
feel as
understand,
though
right? I understand that rule, but betting in general, why is it that everyone else can make money off these athletes, but they can't bet? Why is that? So
okay,
I don't see anything wrong with it. I feel like that the suspension was way too severe, especially with no pay. Even if they gave him 50% pay, so and maybe a 3 or 4 game suspension, or even half the season, but to take that man's whole season away with no pay, but yet and
so you're
still.
you're saying open market. You think even coaches should be able to place away as long as it's not their own
As
team?
long as it's not their own squad, absolutely. As long as it's not their
Okay,
own
all
team
right.
that they're betting on, to me, it should be wide open. Why not? Everyone else is making money off these athletes, and they're getting paid, but everyone else is getting paid off of them. So why shouldn't they be able to bet? The
All
NFL,
right.
college football and professional on those levels. I mean, it's still a job. They're
Yeah.
working for their money like anyone else.
Very much true. And we're on to our next topic, you guys. And for some reason, we don't have the Russell Wilson ticker, but we're going to move on to Russell Wilson and the Denver Broncos.
Definitely touching on
And
that one. That's
yeah,
huge.
and that one, man, is big because you guys know the quarterback position is huge in football, and Russ is, some would say Hall of Fame. And you just don't get a Hall of Fame quarterback all the time, Q. So
Yeah.
does this move Denver automatically into the playoff hunt and maybe more? Or is Russ just a little bit of propaganda for the people?
No, I mean he's definitely gonna be putting people in the seats. I mean with the Broncos, they're always gonna have this fan base. It's always gonna be there regardless. The cities is I mean that's they've always just embraced the team. That's
Yeah.
one of the huge things about Denver is the Broncos. One of the most notable things. We got to see how much he has left in the tank. I mean he doesn't like he's lost any arm strength, but he's a great quarterback, but you got to see who gels around him. See, just because he's going there, you got, it depends on, the weapons around him and how well they gel. They don't have to be marquee guys. Brady showed us that, but how well do they gel with him? That's what we're really going to see. But they got a shot. I mean, he makes him an automatic contender. He's that good. He always has been.
Is he a Hall of Famer in your mind?
I think he's a Hall of Famer. He's not a first ballot guy, but I think he will get in there. He's I'd say maybe second, maybe third ballot, but he's not a first ballot guy in my opinion. But he definitely will get up in there for sure.
Okay, and you guys see currently we have Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield, it looks like is getting a statue, which is definitely up his alley because Baker loved him some Baker, and he is, he did his thing. Heisman winner, had him in the national championship hunt. I think Georgia brought it to him, but Baker Mayfield with a statue at OU. For one, do you think, that should be done? And then two, just overall, Q, should college players have statues at their colleges, these universities? Because I could see a pro team, a pro organization, superstar employee, but these universities got statues of maybe the professor who went to the moon, this guy over here who raised a bunch of money, and Baker Mayfield. So does it all make sense? And do you think we'll see more player statues?
I mean, I feel like this, I feel like that they could, make something for the university that's kind of like how they do maybe in Canton, where it's not maybe a full statue. We're talking about in regards to size.
A bust.
Where where you can make, maybe just like, just a head, so part of a statue and make it, have an area. A little something, right? They have an area, for athletes. Baker Mayfield, a statue? Nah, it's hell no. Now, if anything, you're talking about Oklahoma, I'd make a Brian Bosworth statue before I made that. Because he was the one, he was one of the guys that really put them on the map like that, as we know Oklahoma to be Oklahoma. I'd make a Brian Bosworth statue if there's not already one. If there's not already one, I would make one for him, definitely. But Baker Mayfield, he was a great player, Heisman winner and all that, but nah.
Yeah, especially that one caught my attention, especially considering the history. You got your Billy Sims, you got your Adrian Petersons. A lot of people have come through.
I can see Barry Switzer. You put a Barry Switzer statue or something. But that goes back to like what's talking about, Coach. You go to Penn State, you see a Coach Paterno statue. So if it's kind of like, you got, statues of these legendary coaches, but you do in some kind of way, you got to enshrine, these great players that these great coaches were coaching at the time too. So it's going to have to be something. Yeah.
Great point. And we are on to our next topic, you guys. And those that are joining us live, thank you for coming behind the doors of the locker room and getting the truth, getting it real. We're covering the topics that are on the bottom of the ticker, and we're getting in, we're getting out. If you guys have comments, if you guys just want to share where you're from, please don't hesitate to put that in the comment section. Thank you for joining us. So this next one was real interesting too, and it's kind of speaking upon what the Calvin Ridley and the new era that we're in. And right now we have the MAC conference, Q, and the MAC isn't known necessarily for setting the tone, man, for some of these, kind of sideways deals. Right. But the MAC says they're going to sell the stats. They're going to sell the data. Now, I guess the Associated Press, man, and the media has access to that, and they paid their dues. But the MAC is saying that they're going through a third-party company. The third-party company pays the MAC. The MAC gives them all the stats. They have access to the basketball, the football, the baseball stats.
Injury reports.
And then they can sell to whoever they want to. So what's your opinion, man, on the MAC conference making a little extra money on the side with the sports?
Well, why not? Why not? I mean, it's one of those things where everything, Coach, that's coming to light now or that's mainstream has always been going on. We're talking about NIL deals, but if you know football, know your history, Everybody remember, back in '83 with the SMU Mustangs, and their suspension, and Eric Dickerson's legendary gold Trans Am he got. Money's been flying around in college. It's just been underground. Now it's mainstream, and we call it NIL. It's the same thing. Sports betting's been going on for forever. With no matter what the sport, it's been, Rocky Marciano and boxing and Ali all the way to, Bird and Magic and the Lakers and the Celtics back then. It's always going to be, as long as it's sports, it's always going to be sports betting. So why not? Everyone's already been making money.
So this is just another way, you guys. I mean, I really want to illustrate, because there's one part of our show that we're covering, real trending topics, live time things that you guys are hearing about. Obviously, we want to talk from an educational standpoint and a value standpoint. But then there's a whole nother side, you guys, that many of you guys will be able to capitalize on if you know what you're doing. This is a whole new era. Some of these kids that are playing in the March Madness coming up, they have a great tournament. There's going to be NIL deals coming their way. They're going to make some money for themselves. So it's just a whole new era, man. It's wild, and I'm glad for you guys, but you got to do it right. You got to do it right. So let's get to our next topic, Q. And this is something, we've all been through, at least me and you, as far as recruiting pressure. And there's these recruiters that are flying. You see right here on the jet to go find some recruiter. You see Nick Saban right here. And some of these kids, Q, are talking about immense pressure, man, especially when their parents aren't around, that they're feeling the hardcore sales. And if you're a parent and you're sitting back, man, does that tell you, hey, I'm not messing with that school, I'm not sending my kid to that school because they're trying to pressure them too much? Or are you like, hey, that's par for the course?
No, it's a good question, Coach. I mean, you got to look at it like we've been saying, since the beginning. It's business. And sometimes business and money is going to overtake morals by far. So, yeah, as a parent, again, that's the purpose of, before you go pro, to get education from the curriculum, to tune in to the locker room show, because we're giving you the sauce for you parents to understand that it's always going to be money first. Yes, they want your kid to go to their school. Yes, he's a dog. They understand that, but they're going to set their morals aside and look at winning and money first. And you have to understand that as a parent. If you don't understand that, this business of college football, and especially if your sons get an opportunity to go to the league, it's not for the faint of heart. And you need to understand that. So if you have colleges, I don't care if, if it's Saban or whoever it might be, that is, showing up on your doorstep or contact your kid to pressure, that's your job to step in with the information and education you have from programs such as this, to be able to be like, hey, we're not, any moves or any decisions that this child is going to make we're going to be part of that. He's going to make the ultimate decision, but he's not going to just be pressured and we stand on the sideline just because it's Nick Saban or just because it's whomever, that's wanting to have a sit down in our kitchen talking about our kid.
Yeah, and there's some things you guys should expect. It's kind of like if there was a comedy thing with Chris Rock, and he said there were women that were saying that if I dress a certain way, I don't like men approaching me thinking a certain thing. And he said, I get that. But he said, if I go outside and I dress like a cop, I can't say that I don't want people asking me to help them out, that. So it's kind of things you can expect, man. If you want to get into this football industry at a high level, you got to expect that there's going to be some hard sales. You have to expect that there's going to be pressure situations on and off the field. And it kind of comes with the course, it comes with the business that you guys are in, and it's the real side of it. So that's what we want to bring to light. And we are approaching the fan favorite, of the show, and that is the lightning round. And I see Hughes coming in, and he's talking about Billy Sims. Yeah, you're right. Jamil Holloway, a little bit surprised that Baker's the one.
Baker Mayfield.
But Baker be politicking. Baker makes it. He's doing
Come
his
on,
thing. Number one overall pick. So we are on you guys to the lightning round, and I know you guys love the lightning round. That's where we got 60 seconds. Whoever the guest is on the show tonight, we're gonna put our very own Q the Guru through the lightning round. But he has 60 seconds. If you're joining us for the first time, to go through a little word association. And I think he's catching on to how some of these people are flying through. But he's got, I think your best was maybe 7 or 8, Q.
Yeah, I think it was 7, yeah.
Okay, 7 or 8. Yeah. But the locker room show best, you guys, is 9. And I think there's a tie between Coach Cedric Cormier and it might have been Rojesterman Ferris. We're going to check this out. And we got a good list for you, Q. And he's got 60 seconds, you guys. Let's see how many he can get through tonight. Yeah, now, at the end of the season, right before we hit the fall football season, we're going to name who is number 1, who got the most. And they're going to get a very, very special evening on behalf of Before You Go Pro in the Locker Room show. So we are going to see how Q does tonight. And I know our boy Hughes is watching and a bunch of other people. And let's see what you got. So you ready, player?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, fire away, Coach. We good.
All right. So I'm going to get my stopwatch ready. The stopwatch is ready to go. I'm not cheating you. We at 00. And we are starting. Russell Wilson.
Great. One of the greatest mobile quarterbacks of our time recently.
Joey or Nick Bosa?
I'll take Nick Bosa.
Ooh. Devontae Adams of the Green Bay Packers.
Explosive.
Pac-Man Adam Jones of our era.
Great talent, terrible off the field issues.
All right. Eddie George, Heisman Trophy winner.
A monster and love the battles with Ray Lewis.
Another Ohio State alum, Kirk Herbstreit.
Man, him and Lee Corso set the tone for shows such as this one. A legend.
Rondé Barber.
My mentor.
Best barbecue you ever had. 56 cents.
KC Masterpiece. Actually, I'm sorry. Gates Barbecue in Kansas City. I'm sorry.
Gates Barbecue in Kansas City. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Or 8. You got Rondé with 7. Gates Barbecue is 8. So right there, Q is moving up the ranks. He's picking up his speed. I see him catching on. And Gates Barbecue, man, that's the spot.
Yeah. Oh, hey, listen. It's a story behind that. So my grandfather, right, Percy Williams, he was a professional golfer. Unfortunately, didn't get an opportunity to get on the PGA Tour due to the fact he was African American, man. But he was great golfer. But one of his best friends was Satchel Paige, legendary pitcher for the Kansas City Monarchs, and Mr. Gates, that owned Gates Barbecue, is legendary barbecue spot in Kansas City. So if you're ever in Kansas City, go get you some Gates, best barbecue in America right there, hands down.
You guys got it right there from the guru.
Aaron McDaniel. I'm telling you, what, isn't that the truth? Yeah, that's one of my grandfather, Mr. Gates. I'm telling you, every time we go in there, man, every time, man, we same play, but man, best barbecue around. I assure you, I would not steer you wrong.
All right, so there you guys have it, Gates Barbecue. I'm hungry already because I've been waiting to eat all day, man. Yeah. So there you go. And we are on, you guys, to the audience question of the day. If you're joining us live, please don't hesitate. You got 2 people here that played at a high level, that love to give back and tell the truth. So if you got a question, put it in the chat. We will knock it out before the end of the show. But I'm going to pull a question from one of my student athletes. And I always like going to the parents, man, because They're the ones that are really thinking, man, and kind of plotting and trying to forecast things.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and the kids, they just hustling. They
Right.
trying to figure it out,
Right.
But the parents get into it. So I got a good one, man. There's a parent and his son is a wide receiver, and he's
Okay.
going to go to college as a wide receiver,
Okay.
Division
Good.
One level kid.
Okay.
But the school, man, is struggling. They don't really have much numbers as far as how many kids are on the team.
Mm.
And it's looking like the coach wants him to play both ways. The dad is a little nervous. Obviously, athletically, he can do it, but Pops is a little nervous. He may get injured. And he doesn't necessarily have the scholarship offer he wants yet. So, what's your opinion? Is it team first? Is it, hey, Pops, maybe one of us should talk to the coach? What's your opinion?
Looking at the program, I mean, if he has that kind of ability, I mean, that's kind of a little bit tough to answer, Coach, because it's one of those things where, as far as his stock, I don't know if the kid has aspirations of going to the next level and trying to get to the league. But if you look at a Dion or a Champ Bailey, who played both ways legitimately. Teddy Ginn Jr. was originally a corner and ended up a receiver and went both ways in return. Devin Hester as well. I can keep going. But it depends. It kind of depends on the program. Depending on what university, and if he does get throughout a game get fatigued. Sometimes injuries can happen. It's more likely. If he's playing both ways. So it's one of those things where I would kind of sit back and be a little bit more patient and see what offers he gets. And if and once you kind of look and see what exactly is on the table as far as universities, if he doesn't get that offer that he really his dream school, then that might be a consideration him going there. At least he knows, both sides of the ball. Hey, kid, you're gonna get clocked right away.
Did you
And
go
that's
both
really
ways in high school,
yeah.
Q?
Yeah, absolutely,
Okay.
and returns, punt, kickoff, corner, and receiver as well. So it's one of those things you're upping your stock in the same breath. So if he has the ability to do that, but I wouldn't be as a coach. It's one of those things. So is the coach expecting him to do that every game? So it's different things that you have to look at, like game to game, and depending maybe who the opponent is or whatever. But asking a kid to play, that's a lot of snaps, coach. That's a lot of
Yeah.
snaps.
And you guys, especially like we said earlier, you guys, now you get into the business side of things, especially if you're talking about a young man that has Division I potential. Maybe this kid's gonna go to Michigan State or something,
Mhm.
Cincinnati, six-figure scholarship, NIL potential. You really hope and pray that he's playing for a high school or a junior college coach, Q, that has some savvy. Like you said, maybe
Right.
I'm not playing him every play. If he's a wide receiver, I need him on DB, maybe on passing downs,
Right, exactly. Like on nickel
but
or something, or if he's
yeah,
primarily he's primarily letting them play corner, but we could, because that's kind of what that's kind of what Miami did with Devin Hester. It was like, at first he was at corner. That's what he got recruited for, corner and punt and kickoff return. But then you put a few packages together for him on offense, but he's not out there every single snap. That's just too many snaps for the kid. And then again, like I said, you get into, like fatigue issues, and it's too likely that he can get injured. And that's going to cost him more so than the program in the university, because it's business. So him and his parents have to look out for him first.
no, that's a great point, man. And Trailski says, "What is the best way to remove yourself from the wrong crowd to play ball?" So it looks like
Mm.
maybe he wants to get back to playing ball, and he's running with some cats, or in an environment where it's hard for him to get back. What's your advice on that?
Hey, Trelsky, that's easy to answer. It's called discipline, bro. It's called flat out discipline. If you see people around you that are going down the wrong path, you're next. If you see people going to jail or people getting shot and killed and what have you, that type of life, or selling dope, you're next. So stay out of the way and be disciplined and get focused on what you really want to do with yourself and make something of yourself. That's super easy to answer. And really, you had the answer. I'm glad you asked it, but you had the answer already.
No, that's real talk. And, and that's why we in the locker room, because we're going to keep it real with you. And if there's some cats that you look at them and they don't have what you want, man, you got to run for the hills. And it may cause you to make some tweaks in your lifestyle. Maybe I'm walking this way to school instead of this way. Maybe I'm getting picked up over here instead of over there. It may cause you to make some tweaks, but you can do it. And if you need support,
Absolutely.
you can get the support. Reach out and you can get the support. But there's nothing like, man, playing ball and living the lifestyle, as me and Q know, that a student athlete gets to live, man.
Yeah, I'm telling
this
you,
man,
it's nothing like
this man was in Kansas, Lauren, Kansas Jayhawks.
It's nothing like
do you know what it's like to have them pay for you to be on campus at a school like the University of Kansas?
Man, it's Trelsky. Here's the thing, man. It's going to school to play ball. I think it dawns on you the first time anyone actually asks you. And I mean, it may, happen, for some people, you've seen that, in high school, but on the college level of a kid or whoever actually like asking for your autograph, man. And I think like if that ever it really, really sinks in, like, man, like I made it, man. Yeah. Because Coach and I have both seen, Coach, I'm sure man, we know plenty of guys right now doing 10 years, 15 years. I know a couple of guys doing life. Won't see the light of day ever on some Hannibal Lecter ever, but you got to stay away from them.
Man, I'm convinced, and unfortunately we'll never know this, Q, but I'm convinced, man, that I coached the next Ed Reed. But he's locked up.
Yeah.
He's locked up right now.
It won't be the last, unfortunately.
And I'm a tough critic. Tough critic, man.
Yeah.
But young man, I only coached him his senior year in high school, but his junior year, I'm not going to say his name, but people who know me know him.
Of course.
His junior year, I want to say 9 interceptions, leading the state of California, first or second in the state of California at the safety position, nine interceptions. So great hands. His senior year, so junior year, 9 picks, all state second team. His senior year, 61 catches and about 1,800 yards and about maybe 18 touchdowns, 20 touchdowns receiving. Literally, man, and about 6'1", 185 in high school.
That's a dog. He's a dog.
And literally, schools had the dilemma: what side do we put this boy on? And I used to say, put him in safety.
Right.
Like you said, man, unfortunately, Trelsky, this young man didn't run with the right crowd. So,
and it's not hard to make a bad call, man. That's the easiest thing to do is make a bad decision.
The easiest thing to do.
It only takes one bad decision, man, and that's it. You cancel Christmas.
Man. That's it, man. So, hey, hopefully you guys really enjoyed tonight's Locker Room show. Please subscribe. We want to blow this thing up. Share it with your friends. Press the button so you get the notification so that YouTube algorithms pick us up and say, hey, that's a show that needs to go to the top. So hopefully you guys enjoyed tonight's show. We're bringing the football topics and we're speaking to you in a real fashion with the Locker Room doors closed. Q, thank you so much, man. And good job. And I'll see you next week, brother.
Next week for sure, Coach. Appreciate y'all.
All right, y'all.